Rebel, rebel, you've torn your dress. Rebel, rebel, your face is a mess. Rebel, rebel, how could they know? Oh, sorry. Rebel Moon Part 1, directed and written by Zack Snyder, has drawn a lot of comparisons to Star Wars due to its space opera style and utilization of common themes in this sci-fi category. The movie stars Sofia Boutella, Ed Skrein, Mikael Huisman, Djimon Hounsou, Charlie Hunnam, and Anthony Hopkins, assembling a strong cast for a promising cosmic journey. It premiered on Netflix on December 21st, 2023, strategically timed for the holiday season and potentially competing with the anticipated Dune Part 2. With a runtime of 134 minutes, Rebel Moon aims to captivate audiences with its unique charm and engaging storyline, setting the stage for a potentially thrilling sequel. But before we get into the review, hit that like button if you enjoy movie reviews and consider subscribing to the channel to get more content like this. And clicking the notification bell will alert you when we drop more content. Now, let's get critical. The film begins with a narration of the current state of the universe. A once dominant king of the galactic domain has been murdered along with his queen and daughter, disrupting the royal lineage and throwing the Imperium into chaos. General Belisarius, both skilled and relentless, seizes control of the Motherworld, the central planet and headquarters for all Imperium forces, and assumes the role of acting king. As the interim ruler, Belisarius commands the Imperium troops to scour the outer territories and extinguish the rebel groups challenging his authority. On a remote moon, Atticus Noble, a cruel admiral of the Imperium, lands to seek out rebel leaders Devra and Darian Bloodaxe. He informs the locals that his soldiers require food while hunting the rebels and expects them, as Imperium subjects, to contribute any excess grain, offering to purchase it at triple the normal price. Sindri, the village chief, refuses, claiming they only produce enough to feed their community. However, Noble, skeptical due to the state of their fields, is convinced otherwise from a villager, Gunnar. In response to Sindri's deception, Noble executes him and demands a greater grain supply within 10 weeks, leaving behind soldiers to oversee progress. These soldiers, however, exhibit cruel and savage behavior. As the soldiers settle in, they are about to assault a young girl but are thwarted by Kora, portrayed by Sofia Boutella, who reveals her extraordinary abilities and eliminates the soldiers, saving the girl. Kora cautions that the entire village may face annihilation upon Noble's return unless they prepare to defend themselves. Kora and Gunnar then set out to enlist skilled fighters for the village's protection. Their recruits include Kai, a smuggler played by Charlie Hunnam, Tarek, an animal handler, Nemesis, a cybernetic sword fighter, and former Imperium commander turned defector Titus, along with rebel leader Darian Bloodaxe and his followers. During their journey, Kai betrays them to Admiral Noble, who arrives to capture them. Noble's arrival leads to the revelation of Kora's true identity. Gunnar, initially seeming insignificant, liberates Kora and eliminates Kai, freeing the others. A fierce battle follows, resulting in casualties including Darian and Noble. The survivors then return to the village. Noble's body is retrieved by Motherworld troops and resurrected. In a spectral encounter with Belisarius, Noble is instructed to crush the rebellion and capture Kora for Belisarius to execute personally. This film unmistakably showcases Zack Snyder's signature style with its distinct visual tones and frequent use of slow motion, making Rebel Moon a clear example of a Snyder passion project. Slow motion, once a novel storytelling tool akin to techniques like the dolly zoom or the Dutch angle, has now become an overused gimmick often employed merely for visual flair rather than narrative purpose. In Rebel Moon, the excessive slow motion, especially in action sequences, distracts from the intensity and flow of the moment. For instance, the opening battle scene with Kora fighting trained soldiers who inexplicably attack one by one is diminished by the slow pace, which only highlights the implausibility of the combat. This issue is reminiscent of the action sequences in 300. However, in Man of Steel, Snyder effectively maintains momentum and audience engagement through well-timed and impactful action beats. Rebel Moon, with its $166 million budget, seems to borrow elements from Snyder's previous works, ranging from 300 to Justice League. Snyder has created compelling films like Watchmen and Man of Steel, which avoid being overwhelmed by his stylistic tendencies. Rebel Moon feels like Snyder exploring a concept of what it would be like to direct Rogue One with free reign from the studio. The film features talented actors, but the script and pacing fail to develop any character other than Kora. The supporting characters are overshadowed by Kora's prowess, and the narrative rushes through the introduction of new characters, often eliminating them shortly after, which hampers audience investment in their arcs. The only notable relationships are between Atticus Noble and Kora. Noble's introduction is particularly striking, reminiscent of Christoph Waltz's Hans Landa in *Inglourious Basterds*. However, beyond these two characters, the rest are given minimal background, often conveyed through brief exposition, leaving viewers unable to form deep connections with them. The film ultimately becomes a string of events lacking in meaningful character development. The film isn't awful. I appreciated the use of practical effects and the potential it presents. If the film had more time to flesh out its characters, it could be quite promising. However, judging it as it stands, the pacing is off, it's over-reliant on exposition, and it leans too heavily on familiar tropes of the genre without distinguishing itself. The film lacks a compelling overarching story for Kora beyond safeguarding the village. There seems to be an untapped depth in Kora and Balisarius' relationship, but it remains underdeveloped in this first part. I hope the sequel delves deeper into their dynamic. My key takeaway is that in epic films with numerous characters, it's crucial to focus on writing, directing, and developing the characters' personal relationships. The story should build upon these elements to engage viewers, similar to what drives reality TV and soap operas. The framework for success is clear and needn't be overcomplicated. As the first installment, I'm giving Rebel Moon a 3 out of 5 stars. The execution of Part 2 will be decisive in setting a definitive rating for the film.